How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. Tonight, we are doing another segment on Get to Know That Cosplayer, and tonight's featured guest is JK Cosplay. How are we doing tonight, JK?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, Wayne?
I'm doing really well. Again, before we start here, I have to thank Iki and Snow Cosplay for recommending you to want to be a guest on this series. So shout out to Iki and Snow Cosplay.
They're awesome.
Yeah, no, they were fun. They were really fun to interview a while back. So basically, if you're familiar with this series for Cosplay Con Talk, we basically go do an in-depth look and history into your cosplay and conventions, the kind of cosplays you've done, some advice you may have, and stuff like that.
And where do you want me to start?
I guess as always, if the first question I always ask is, how long have you been cosplaying for?
I'm like officially cosplaying.
All together.
Altogether, well, I mean, I guess if it's like going as characters, then that's only been since I was probably like 18. Before that, it was just kind of I was born and raised in Virginia, so I was around all of the historical like reenactment sites and everything like that. So that's kind of where my basis came from, is going to all those places and getting dressed up in like Georgian clothes and stuff, Civil War. But then when oh gosh, it was actually for someone's party, I did my first like official cosplay, and it was Reno from Final Fantasy VII.
No, wait, the Advent Children Reno or the one where his
Yeah,
outfit looks okay, not the one where his outfit looks blue.
no, no. Yeah, it was Advent Children. So I went to Goodwill and got a suit
Quentin,
coat and put a zipper in it, and
nice, the Quentin Flynn Reno.
yeah.
Nice.
So that's my fallback. That's like I really want to go somewhere in costume, but I don't really want to put a whole lot of time into it.
And technically,
So,
Reno would be also considered a casual cosplay.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's my go-to.
Did you have anyone go as Rude or Rufus Shinra?
No, you know someone who would make like an awesome Rude, but he's not really into that type of cosplay. He likes doing his own thing. But otherwise, like I've kind of been the only person that I know that does Final Fantasy VII stuff. But I guess Iki and Snow might be doing something. I know she's doing Aerith, but
Yeah, I know. I've
oh,
seen Iki's Aerith cosplay that she had shown at her booth and Snow's booth at a con for
mhm.
2021. How many years have you been cosplaying then? All
I'm
together.
old. I'm old. Like I said, the first official one has probably been like 12 years
Oh,
officially.
so you're in that category, as I put it with Iki and Snow. Actually, the first time I ever used that word, cosplay veteran.
I guess. I mean, I've more recently with them since meeting Erica and Iggy and Snow, I've gotten more into it. I kind of was more of a I'm gonna make this and I'm gonna play with it, and then it's just gonna sit in my closet.
Well,
And
how I see it, if you've been cosplaying for more than 10 years, I feel like you've seen that in that category of cosplay veterans. Plus, you've seen the change how cosplay's been.
yeah, yeah. I think like the first time I really ever found out what cosplay was, I was like 15. And that was even really before cons were really a big thing. Like you really usually only heard about San Diego Comic Con and Dragon Con. You didn't hear about a lot of the anime cons or the smaller conventions. It was just like the super big ones. And just kind of seeing the evolution from even there to where it has been. I guess I kind of paid attention to it
Oh yeah, no.
before I even started.
Cons have definitely. I feel like cons like Wizard World or San Diego Comic Con, they're more of your mainstream cons nowadays, where they basically have like A-list celebrities and
Yeah,
talking about this next new movie or this next big video game or something.
yeah, it's all like pop culture,
Pretty much.
what's in. which those are fun, but sometimes it's like, well, you kind of want to do something a little bit more out there, introduce people to new things.
Exactly. Speaking of, what was your very first con?
It was actually MizCon, here in Missoula.
BlizzCon? Oh, like
MizCon,
oh Ms.
MISCON. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I thought you said BlizzCon is like
no, I'm not that. I'm not that big.
so MizCon. What is you said Missouri,
Missoula and
Missoula?
Missoula, Montana. Yeah, it's
I
our local.
Yeah, I remember Iki and Snow were talking about that con as well.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that like going to a local convention for your first
Uh,
con?
First time I went to it, it was relatively small. Like it was done in a smaller hotel here in town. I was actually a guest because since I was, oh gosh, since I was really young, I've been making corsets. So I
Nice.
was invited to do a panel on corsets. And it was really cool to see kind of because it was kind of like, oh my gosh, I found my people. Because I love doing period costuming and then adding it into like more of I like injecting period inspired techniques and looks into the costumes that I do when I go all out. So I kind of had a whole, this is awesome. I want to keep doing this. And I've gone to all of them except for this last 2 years because of everything. And then I think there was one year that I didn't go just because I had kind of an off year.
It happens. I mean, even your most well-known cosplayers will take time off and not do conventions.
Yeah, we all kind of need that break.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely I definitely hear that. So what
Yeah.
has it been like for cosplaying and going to conventions for so long?
I mean, for me, it's still kind of mind blowing every year. But then I'm mainly an introverted person. I don't really get out a lot. So going to conventions like it and seeing the progression of a local convention too, it's awesome. It's something kind of smallish to something pretty awesome. Um,
Nice.
it's just been, I don't know, it's still just a wild ride for me. Sometimes I get butterflies before every convention that I've been to. I'm kind of a shy person.
It happens, but I feel like conventions bring out the best in people because they're around something they like, something
Yeah.
they've always enjoyed as a kid. So I feel like
Hmm.
for a brief moment, they can come out of that shell and just be themselves without being judged or whatever
Yes,
or made fun of.
I agree wholeheartedly. That's like I'm old. I'm 36 and I still get like nervous when people ask me, "So what do you do for fun?" And I'm like, "I cosplay." And some people are like, "What is that?" And others are like, "Oh, so you're one of those weirdos." I'm like, "Thank you for making me not want to tell you what
Uh,
I do."
I don't think people should be really like that because I remember this photo I seen a couple of years ago. It was this elderly couple like in their 70s or so, and they were
Mhm.
cosplaying as Mario and Princess Peach.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I don't think people, like I know people will do it, but you got to realize it doesn't matter how old you are.
Mm-mm,
It doesn't matter your age, height, ethnicity, sexuality, whatever.
mm-mm.
Cosplay is for everyone. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it really is. And I don't know. I I just can't really talk right now, but I connect with it on like a really weird level, like that part of you that's like you're scared to be yourself, but then when you're in costume, you can do anything because you are that character in that
And had
persona.
and had you told me if you hadn't told me that you were if 36, I wouldn't believe it because I've looked at some of your cosplay, especially one from like I think what you did one from Blue Exorcist.
Yeah, Rin.
Ren, yeah, I'm like, so like the picture right now. I would not believe that you were 36.
Well,
Like,
thank you.
it's scary to see how these cosplayers who are like in their 30s or late 20s can cosplay characters that are younger than them and make it look convincing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm always nervous about cosplaying anyone like under the age of 20 because I'm like, I'm an old woman. This feels weird. When I got over the age of 30, I'm like, I used to do Eloise Trancy from the second season of Black Butler because I had done that with Iki actually for a project. And when I went over 30, I'm like, I'm
Oh,
not going to do that again.
I mean, I've talked to cosplayers who are like in their like late 20s, early 30s. A cosplayer interviewed who was like one of the earliest cosplayers interviewed. They were talking about how they cosplayed as CL, and they were like in their late 20s, and it looked really well done. Like
Nice.
he did a good job on CL, and so
Uh,
it's like I feel like it shouldn't matter your age. If you enjoy cosplaying the character, you should be able to cosplay them without feeling any like judgment of any sorts.
True, very true. And I think that's just a personal thing I have to overcome because I'm
Now,
struggling. Yeah.
if you're like under the age of 18 and you're wanting to cosplay someone like Lady Death or
Yeah.
Junko or Mount Lady or something from My Hero Academia, it's just like there's that fine line of like, okay, we
Yeah.
get it. It's your favorite character, but you're too young to know what that character is and to be cosplaying. I'm not trying to gatekeep, but I feel
Hmm.
like there's that certain like, hey,
Yeah.
you got to talk to the parents like, hey, your kid really shouldn't be cosplaying such a
Gratuitous.
gratuitous character.
Yeah. No, there's when I was under the age of 18, I loved Witchblade. I still do. I still do. And that's like one of the things that I would absolutely love to do. And when I was like 16 years old, I was always trying to figure out, okay, how can I do that? How can I make that? But I never did. And I still to this day I'm like, well, it could be done. They're like, no, no, that wouldn't work right. So yeah, but that was always something that I was like 16. That was not something I should be thinking about. But that was well before I actually started doing it too. So it's just more of a way of trying to figure out how to execute something like that. That was a project I wanted to do.
So, what was it like cosplaying as the blonde little, and excuse my language, the blonde little bastard from Black Butler?
Well, I only did it for a performance, so that was good.
And no hate on the character, just the energy and vibe they give off from the anime.
It was depressing because the character is incredibly depressing.
Oh yeah, man.
And
After you find out more of his story, yeah.
yeah, and I said Eek and I did it. Eek was Seal and I was Eloise and we did a waltz for a performance for a show. And then I did a fan dance as Eloise, but it was just the energy was very um there was a lot of frustration and then depression. So it was just like
That's I don't know what to say to that. That's pretty crazy. I
yeah.
mean, especially with the kind of character Alois is, and
Hmm.
especially what you find out what happens, when later on he gets killed by Claude. Spoilers.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Yeah. So it's I'd like I
Claude was never really one of Alois in the first place.
no. No.
Oh
Uh,
man.
he's kind of sad, but he was a little bit of a shit until you find out, and then you're like, I feel really bad for you.
Yeah, especially with the whole
Uh,
Jim Mackin thing.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that's a topic for like a regular Geeking Out podcast talking about Black Butler. Um, so, any advice you would like to give to first-time cosplayers or con goers who are thinking about going to their first con, whether it be a big con or a small con?
Don't don't get out, don't stay in your head. Get out of your head because that's my biggest thing is I will get trapped inside my own head and I'll overthink it and I'll get nervous and then I'll self-sabotage a lot. Um,
Yeah,
getting in
no one wants to ever self-sabotage themselves.
No, no. I still do it to this day. I self-sabotage or I overthink something and things that I've gotten everything for but haven't started, I'll self-sabotage on and then I'm like, well, great, I have all this stuff. What am I going to do with it? And then I just feel like I'm not going to do it right. And I would just ask that people try not to do that because it causes a lot of heartbreak. You feel like you've missed out. Um, and yeah, when I my first big con was Sakura Con
In
in 2012.
in Seattle?
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, that was my
That's a pretty big con too.
yeah. Yeah. I went with a couple of my friends, but the first time I was there, like, I'd gotten to MissCon a couple of times before that, but when I got there, after being there and being in that environment, I almost psyched myself out. But once I was there, I was like, this is what I want to do. And had I listened to myself and stayed in my head, I never would have had that experience and I never would have the love for cosplay that I still continue to have.
So,
So,
who did you go as at for Sakura Con back in
well,
2012?
for that one, so my first was actually Reno. And then I did like it wasn't a specific character, but I had made a soldier inspired corset from Final Fantasy VII. Um,
Which soldier class?
um, oh my, first class? Shoot, my brain just died. I based it off of Sephiroth's
Oh yeah, so yes,
costume.
so yeah, soldier, yeah, first class. Oh, so a
Yeah,
Sephiroth based corset. Nice.
yeah. I actually sold it to Snow, which is kind of funny. But I wore that with like a red sleeveless sweater and a blonde wig and just stuff, and it wasn't anything in particular. It was just kind
Soldier
of showcasing
corset
something.
Sephiroth. Okay. I'm writing this down so I remember when I edit it later on. I can remember what cosplays were talked about, so you can send
Yeah,
me photos of said cosplays. Um,
yeah.
kind of a little on topic, off topic here. What's it been like making corsets?
Um, I love it. Um, I've always been obsessed with period clothing, and then Moulin Rouge came out, and it was like corsets galore, and I was like, oh my God, these are amazing. And then just being into period costuming, I like to do period accurate everything. So making corsets translated into that, and they're a pain in the butt, but they are. I love making them. I make them with steel,
Oh, so
and
you go that old
yeah.
fashioned.
Yeah, if I could, which I would not get any now, clearly, but if I could get baleen, I would. Um,
Baleen, like bone?
yeah. Hmm.
Ooh,
Yeah, because
that's
that's what they used to
baleen
make them with.
wells. Yeah.
Yeah, the bones. Or reeds. I've done reeds. I've done corded corsets where it's just basically like cord sewn in, and they're not so much used for cinching, but just kind of more of like a support. But I'll use a
Good old 17th century ingenuity.
yes, yes. Nobody knows this. Yeah, I love making corsets and stays. Probably more so stays because 17th and 18th century corsets are actually my favorite. So they're stays, not corsets.
Comes in handy if you're wanting to
Um,
cosplay as Elizabeth Swann from the first Pirates of the Caribbean film.
funny thing, I that's one of that was a Halloween costume one year.
You cosplayed as Elizabeth Swann?
Kind of. I couldn't get the exact fabric, so I went with something else, so it turned out different. But I like had the necklace.
which outfit was it? The one where she falls over the
It
balcony?
was it was supposed to be the gold dress, yeah, but unfortunately the fabric that I got was like this really dark blue and gold with like a stag and leaf print on it. And I still have the dress floating somewhere around.
Nice.
I've redone it since then.
Uh,
And but yeah.
Now, on the topic of corsets and in cosplay,
Mhm.
for someone who's made corsets and who's worn corset and has incorporated corsets into their cosplays, what kind of advice, whether it be man or woman, they want to wear a corset for their cosplay? What advice would you give for first-time corset wearers for cosplaying?
Um, First time corset wearers, I mean, just kind of a general rule for, I mean, it goes for cosplay and then just in general. Don't overdo it. Don't try tight lacing on your first time.
Don't be like
That's
CL wearing his corset.
yeah. Or Elizabeth, bringing it back to Pirates of the Caribbean, or Elizabeth when they tighten her up so tight she passes out.
Doesn't
Um,
breathe.
no, yeah, don't do that. Don't get a little overzealous with it. Corseting, if you're gonna try to get your waist down super tiny for a costume, you're gonna want to put some time into to getting there. You can't just immediately do it, which is a lot of people think that, oh, I'm getting a corset, I'm gonna get this size and I'm gonna get that size. That's not how it works.
No, I'll be making sure once I edit this video, I'll be making sure to put a picture of Elizabeth and CL saying, "Don't do this."
Yes, exactly. Um, yeah,
Don't be like
that's
this. You need to breathe.
exactly. Yeah, that would probably be my
You don't need
biggest.
that hourglass figure.
Oh, it's not worth it. I have actually. I used to go to the Renaissance Fair when I lived in Colorado, and I wanted to get out the door, meet my friends, and get there, and I tied my corset too tight. And I was wearing an 18th century inspired dress, so it was pinned closed. It's not something you can easily take off. And I got there, and it was really hot, and we were walking around, and funnily enough, I passed out near the pirates.
Oh, the irony. I'm trying not to laugh. That's not that has not
Really
been
funny
fun.
now. I was just like, oh my gosh. So yeah,
Hey,
I that
at
was my
least you
thing.
passed out in front of some pirates.
Exactly, exactly. They came over and they helped me set up on the fountain that was near there, and they're just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I sat there for probably about 45 minutes, and everybody wanted my picture. It was great, but it was just like, I will never do that again.
Now, would you recommend if someone's not used to wearing a corset, would you recommend someone having like a friend with them to help them tie the corset if they don't know how to work a corset?
Yes, I would definitely recommend that. That way, it's being able to have someone else do it. You can gauge it and then be able to breathe. You do have to trust that person, however. um because there's a lot of trust that goes into wearing corsets. You want to make sure that they can pick up on even like nonverbal cues. um you can ask Erica about this because we've done tight lacing pieces together, so there you have to kind of have trust with someone when they're lacing you into a corset.
I mean, I know there's like the different types of corsets. There's the one for your midsection, and then
Hmm.
if there's also the corset if like saloon girls in old
Hmm.
Western films where they make their busts look bigger.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Either way, but I think mainly, yeah, either it goes for either one, but you really, really, really have to trust the person if you're doing an underbust, because that can cause some serious damage if it's
Well,
slightly or
it can make
inappropriately.
your ribs all kinds of jacked up.
It can, and if the corset is like a generic or it's not bespoke, so like custom, it can cause like problems digging into your hips and digging into your rib cage underneath your bust. So underbusts are a little bit trickier, at least in my experience.
I hope I believe it. I've never worn corsets, but I've seen people wear corsets and I've seen pictures online of what a
Hmm.
corset can do if it's worn improperly or too tight.
Hmm. Yep. So you have to be careful with them. They are fun. They're great if you have one custom made or you make one yourself. Like can be the most comfortable things ever, and people don't think about that when they think of corsets. They think discomfort. They think oppression. A lot of people think they're oppressive, but if it's worn right and it's made right, it feels like a hug.
That's some sound advice for any of those, whether again male or female, listening who are thinking about wearing incorporating corsets. You know,
Yeah.
if you have any more questions, if anyone has any more questions about corset safety, I'm sure if it's okay with you, if they ask you.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I've done Corset panels almost every year I've been to Miss Con. There's been a couple of years that I haven't, but I'm more than happy to answer questions for people. Some of it's based on experience, a lot of it's based on research that I've done into it, because it goes hand in hand with what I love to do. So
I'll
foundations and everything else.
I'll definitely keep that in mind if I ever need a guest panelist for my podcast panel on cosplay safety and awareness.
Yeah, totally, definitely. I'd be down for that.
So, now that we've talked about, oh yeah, another one more thing before we go into more into about your cosplays and your convention experiences. What is your advice for when it comes to first-time cosplayers or cosplayers on a budget? What are your thoughts on thrifting for your cosplays?
I've done it. I think it's awesome. Um, going to thrift stores or even getting pieces that you have from other people. It's it lends um what's the word I'm looking for? it can add to the costume if it's thrifted versus just something that's bought from an existing place. I don't know if any of this is making sense.
Oh no,
Um,
it does. I get what you're saying. Kind of like a hand me down in a sense.
yeah, I encourage, looking at all avenues, and thrifting is definitely something that I've used. So it's like definitely a plus for me.
That's always good, and that's for whoever's listening. Especially if if you're not used to making your own costume or you're unsure what to go as, you can even grab stuff from a thrift store and just do a casual version of a character.
Yeah. Examples of things that I've gotten at thrift stores is my Reno coat. And then I was Rip Van Winkle from Van Helsing, and I had gotten my suit from Goodwill
Wait, who?
there. Rip Van Winkle.
Isn't he the gravedigger?
No, she's a vampire in Helsing.
Oh, Helsing! I thought you were talking about Van
Yeah.
Helsing.
No.
The anime.
Yeah.
Oh God, my age is showing.
Uh, yeah. In Helsing, I was her, and I the shirt.
Who was Rip Van Winkle again?
She was one of the Nazi vampires. The long hair with the umbrella and the long rifle.
I haven't seen. I've only seen a few. I've probably seen like 5, 10 minutes of the first episode of Helsing. I haven't seen that since high school. So
Yeah,
it's been a
I
while.
she wasn't in the first anime, the first time they adapted it. She wasn't in it at all. She was mainly in the manga. But then when they redid the series, a couple years ago, actually more than a couple years ago now, but when they redid it, she was in it. And
Okay.
my my entire costume, except for my boots, was basically thrifted for her.
Nice.
And then I think there was another one that I had some thrift store stuff for too, but no, I encourage thrifting, especially for suits, because suits are a pain in the butt to make.
I can agree. I can attest to that. So I usually get my suits off of Amazon.
Yeah,
It's what I did for my. It's what I did for my Ice King Simon.
nice,
So yeah,
nice.
I can attest to that. Now that we've talked about the advice and your experiences, like conventions and how you got started. Um, Now to talk about your cosplays. I take it you've made some of your cosplays from is quote unquote scratch.
Quite a few of them.
Um,
Um,
what would you say your favorite one of all time is? Like it's one you always will get the chance if you ever get the chance to cosplay.
um, Probably the one that I've made from scratch would probably be my bell. Um, it kind of crosses the line. It first started as Belle from Once Upon a Time, but it's more edging more into like a historically inspired belt. I'm in the process of
Oh,
redoing it.
Belle.
Beat of the Beast, yeah.
Okay, her Disney version, her Once Upon a Time TV show adaptation.
hmm
Okay, so the one from the TV show. Okay.
Yeah. It started as that, and then now I'm in the process of completely redoing it to be more historically inspired. So
Oh,
it'll have like
from like the original fairy tales.
18th century, yeah.
Oh, the more dark and gritty one.
hmm Yeah, this one it's the bodice has hand embroidery on it, and
What is the
it'll
bodice again?
it's the top part of the dress. It's like a little vest that laces up, but it's gonna have
Okay.
a stomacher piece in it, and um, um, I've done all the hand embroidery on the apron and the bodice, and I'm gonna do some on the skirt. So, but that's something that I've had for a while. I wore that to my second Sakura Con. I had made one for
Nice.
them, and
How long did that take to make altogether?
ah, like well, before the original one probably took about 30-40 hours. Um, Doing the redo, it's of course taking a lot longer because of all the handwork that's going into it. Um, but it probably takes anywhere from 30 to 40 hours. But then when I get in the zone, I'm in the zone.
Now, kind of on that topic of, what would you say the biggest cosplay project you ever done, like it took you a very long time to get it done?
I'm currently in the process of like a couple of those right now.
Well, one that you got done a while, like recently, I should say.
Loki from the Avengers.
Uh,
Um,
oh, his Asgardian outfit. Nice.
kind of it's the one that without like the full helmet armor thing.
Basically,
It's
the one where he
the
gets
Avenger,
smacked around like a rag doll by Hulk.
the more simpler version. So not with the full armor and the cape and stuff, but so like what he would wear in the holding cell when he was talking to Black Widow. Um,
Okay, before he made Hulk go all ape shit.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. That one, oh gosh.
that's a lot of intricate details on that costume alone, with minus the cape and the helmet.
Yeah, yeah. I do have the helmet. My husband made that for me though. Um,
Nice.
but and then I have the small version of the staff. Um, he helped me make the pauldron for the shoulder, but then I made everything else. Um, that one took a long time because it was a lot of foam work and like we
I
would
imagine
do
the embroidery was a bitch too.
fortunately I didn't do any hand embroidery on that one. I
Mm.
bought a Celtic knotted trim to kind of accent it with.
Kind of give it that
Um,
Norse look.
yeah.
Nice.
Which I love textures. I love patterns if I can incorporate them in any way I can. I like to give things depth. So there's a couple little details on my Loki that are not like I have a bad habit of doing that. Just in well, I've done a rule. I'll add things here and there.
Nice.
Um, but that was probably my biggest one.
How long did that take?
Months. I
I
mean,
imagine it was fun to wear though. Once you got it all done.
it is, but it's a lot. It's about 5 layers of pleather.
Oh, how much? How much
Um,
is that? Like weight wise?
weight wise, I want to say if like I have it put together and I'm carrying it, it's probably about 25 pounds
Oh jeez, that's a lot of freaking
because
pleather.
you've got yeah, you've got the jerkin and then you've got um the vest,
Mm.
essentially the over vest, the long vest, and then the armor pieces and the boots and um all that fun stuff. And it just was really heavy. I almost killed my sewing machine with that
Oh
one.
jeez, your sewing machine is like, put me out of my misery, damn it! This is too much
Pretty much,
work. Damn
pretty much.
you!
And then all the hand sewing for like the little the
God, I can't
uh
get your hands out of
the plates.
your hands had have hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you're sewing through a couple of different layers of leather to get those little plates on there. And the only thing I didn't make were the pants. I just had a pair of pants that I would wear. But I
Hey,
was like,
hey,
pants.
sometimes you gotta cheat. I think. Go basic. Um,
Yeah.
Now
It's
you
just
mentioned
hard for me.
your husband helps. Does he
Hmm?
cosplay as well?
Not really. He used to be huge into Halloween and he would do like these amazing elaborate Halloween costumes. Like one year before I really got into cosplay, we went as he went as a predator for Halloween and I went as like a humanized predator in the movies. He had stilts and everything that he was on and he had the mask and he like hand painted it to look even more
Nice. So
realistic than it
he
was.
won as a Yautja. Nice.
Yes. Yes, it was we went all out on those costumes. I got these like fake security cameras that would pan and we built our cannons.
To be nice. That
Yeah.
is awesome. Mind giving your husband a shout out because it sounds like he helps you with a lot of your bigger cosplay projects.
And my props, yeah, he'll help me with that. He's made like I said, he did that Loki helmet. He made my staff and he did like the LED lights in it. He did a resin cast for
Nice.
the glowy parts. He made
Nice.
he
Um,
made my predator mask.
mind giving him a shout out if that's okay.
Yeah, well, it's my husband Adam. Um 10 no, gosh, 13 years now. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thanks. Yep.
It's always nice, especially if your partner is supportive and likes helping with your hobby, such as cosplay.
Yeah, he's my rock. He and our daughter, they're my rocks. So she likes to do cosplay too.
Aw.
Oh,
Have you
yeah.
have you done any mommy daughter cosplays together?
I want to do Sailor Moon and Sailor TV Moon with her. And
Oh, that's so
she's
cute.
12. Her she likes doing like not really obscure but kind of different things. She we always do something crazy and awesome for her for Halloween. Like one of the biggest things I did for her was she did a humanized version of Queen Chrysalis for My Little Pony. And my husband made her these really awesome wings, and he made her a horn, and I made her like this outfit with a corset and everything on.
Oh,
And this last Halloween, she was actually Kipo from Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beast.
never heard of that.
It's a Netflix show. It's actually really good. Great
Oh,
for
Kipa. Oh,
ideas.
isn't that
Yeah,
that DreamWorks TV? That
yeah.
okay. I've heard. I keep on seeing that, and I've yet to watch it. It looks like a
It's
really good show.
it's really
It
good. I
doesn't
mean,
look
it's
like
good
it's
on
meant.
all
Doesn't
fronts.
look like it's meant for kids though.
It is on Netflix Kids, which is really interesting, but it's also really cool because I mean, aside from just having a really interesting and immersive story, it's also amazing for representation.
Nice.
So,
Well, that was nice
eh,
of your husband to help your daughter, make the an outfit from that show.
yeah, I made he helped. It was kind of like a basic version of one of the characters. But she was the main character, and then we had ears and a tail and little claws, and
Aww.
he did the painted the shirt for her so it looked like that, and we had to paint her shoes because kids Chuck Taylors that are pink are ridiculously expensive.
Wait, what are?
Chuck Taylors,
Oh, the shoe.
Converse.
Oh, the oh yes,
Yeah.
those shoes. Those.
Yeah, I'm sorry, spending $60 for a pair of pink Chuck Taylors she's gonna
When
overgrow.
you could just buy a pair of Converse and just paint them to look like the shoes.
Or even off brands. That's what we ended up doing. It's just getting like a pair of knockoffs and I hand painted them pink because
Hey, that
yeah.
works.
Yeah. $13 instead of 50. Yeah, we'll do that.
Nice. Now, and some more questions about cosplays to ask. What is that one cosplay that you've not done in so long that you would love to bring back? Like, kind of just show people, hey, this is one of my favorite cosplays I haven't done in so long.
Laura Croft.
Which version? PlayStation era or newer era?
Um, ooh, the PlayStation era, because I've done her classic, and then I've just done the like a all black version. I've done the classic version. I'd love to be able to do that one again. Um,
Nice.
but I'd really love to do her full jungle outfit from Underworld.
Oh, the one
Just
that
like
came.
the
Oh, the one that came out for the Xbox 360 and PS3.
yeah.
Nice. I mean, not to go off topic, she's definitely. I've seen someone do a Laura Croft cosplay from a PS1 area where they made like the pixelated PS1 face, and then
Yeah.
they added the triangular boobs.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I gotta give props to people who will go above and beyond to do characters like that. I remember seeing another
Yes.
cosplayer. They basically made a polygon cloud outfit from Final Fantasy VII.
I think I've seen that one. The hair is fantastic.
They just like made like the fact that people can take cardboard or and
Hmm.
stuff like that and make like a robot or a character from an old game is impressive.
Yeah. I love the dedication folks have.
So this version of Laura Croft, this was her classic one, right? Where she used to wear, like she wore the blue shirt and the brown
Hmm.
shorts and the boots
Yeah.
and the like like the ankle length socks, I think it was.
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. With or without the glasses?
Without
Okay.
something about round glasses does not sit well with my face.
That's totally understandable. I'm sure still it was fun. Now, did you wear a wig or did you make your do your hair in her style?
I had the long hair and my hair is naturally dark brown. So when I did that, I
Hey,
had
so it
long.
worked. It worked in your favor
Yeah.
then.
Yeah. Whenever I do Loki, it was kind of the same thing. I did wear a wig. I would use my own hair, but with Lara Croft, I'd probably have to
Nice.
wear a wig now, but yeah.
What was it like cosplaying such an iconic character that's like almost 30 years old?
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah, she.
It's just fun. it's always fun to be Laura because I I loved that game when it first came out so much. I don't like any of the new games. I think they just went off in a different direction.
They're not
Um,
again not going off topic. They're not bad, but I think you know nothing beats the classics.
no, no, I like the classic era of
The
it.
less whiny frantic version where she's fighting velociraptors and sees a giant
Yeah,
dinosaur.
right, right. Gotta have the T-Rex in there. Yeah, no, that I played the first of the revamp and I got to one part and I was like, this is not a Tomb
This is
Raider game. This is
this
a
is
survival game.
this is not my Lara Croft.
No. I
Um
liked the new movie that was based off the game, but I didn't really care for the game.
um before we go on to the other question, have you ever cosplayed any other classic characters from that era?
I did do Cloud for a performance.
Which
Um,
version of Cloud, the dress or the soldier outfit?
the soldier outfit. I don't think I could do the dress.
Where it's was it the purple outfit in the original Final Fantasy or the black one from Advent Children?
It was actually the black one, so it was yeah, it wasn't quite from that era.
So it was Advent Children Cloud. Okay,
Yeah,
just like with
yeah,
Reno. Okay,
yeah. It wasn't quite from that era.
okay, nice. Now another question I always ask: do you have that one and done cosplay? It was a cosplay you've done once. You did it because you were either asked to, wanted to see what it was like, or it was just kind of a hell of it, but you've never cosplayed them since.
I don't think so. Um,
Or is it just a character you haven't cosplayed in so long? I should say. Kind of like your Laura Croft one.
yeah. Hmm. I'm trying to think. I'm like going through things in my brain. Um, I did Scarlet Witch for two things. Actually, no, one thing.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
Who is she?
from she was Wanda Maximoff. I did the Age of
Oh,
Ultron.
okay.
Yeah,
I. So her Age of Ultron outfit, where she wears that
yeah,
the red the red like long red coat.
yeah. The jacket. And then like
Okay,
just kind of like a '90s grungy look. Like before she kind of got the costume itself. Just more of like her
nice.
normal thing. I did that one year for a convention. That was kind of a one and done. Like, I'm just going to do this really quick because I'm lazy. And I had everything in my closet, so why not?
Why not? I know that's totally valid and
Yeah.
understandable.
Yeah.
Nice. Now on to you kind of answered this sort of future projects that you're working on or future characters you would like to cosplay as.
I have a huge list.
Okay, so all right, what are the two? What's the one project you're working on right now that you're not finished that you would like to share, and then I guess your top three characters you would love to cosplay as.
So one that I'm actually working on right now, I did some work on it today. It's not 100% the outfit, but it's Mara Jade from the expanded Star Wars universe.
Mara Jade, Luke
Um,
Skywalker's
yeah.
wife.
Yeah. I'm kind of
Not many people know that because she was never shown at all ever.
no. There's rumors now that she's going to be brought into like the Disney Plus universe, which
Yeah, I'm.
I'm hoping, but at the same time they've changed so much
Well, I
that
mean,
it's like, how are they going to work that?
they're also adding that anthology anime series too for Star
Yeah,
Wars.
yeah.
Which is
I
like,
did. I
yay! They're finally adding from the books
right,
now.
right. I won't get into to my displeasure with the new movies, but um, I was raised on the expanded universe. I loved like Jason and Jaina and Mara and all these things.
You know, where Luke actually had children.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And you know, the twins, Han and Leia's
A-
twins.
Anyway,
Yeah.
for another podcast that's not
Um,
cosplay related.
yeah,
So
so
Mara Jade.
yeah, I'm working on it's more of a, like a custom like original design that I have. It's like just like a tunic and then a hooded
Nice.
bolero, and so I'm working on that right now.
Nice. Now, does she have a white lightsaber or a purple lightsaber? I can't remember.
She has purple and red, so she
Okay.
has two lightsabers.
Okay.
So I'll probably steal my husband's Darth Vader saber for that.
It's like yoink.
Yeah. And then I think Iki might, maybe, I don't know. It's been like brushed, but I've never officially asked. I don't know if they would let me borrow one of theirs because they said something about the colors being able to change. Because getting a purple lightsaber is really hard unless you have
Yeah.
like a couple $100 to spend.
Yeah, no, I mean I know they sell like some on Amazon that color changes.
Yeah.
I mean, or unless you're willing to pay $300, to go on those
Yeah.
websites or go to Disneyland and get one made.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, they I know that that some one company did make a Mara Jade hilt. Um, can't remember who it was, but it's like impossible to get now,
I
which is a
believe it.
bummer.
Um, so future cosplays, they're basically projects you haven't done yet, but characters you would like to cosplay as, like your top
Mhm.
three.
Top three, I actually have, funnily enough, like everything for them. One that has been one that I've been collecting stuff for years is Esther Blanchett from Trinity Blood. It's one of the costumes from the novels. It's a
Mr. Who?
black um Esther Blanchett from Trinity Blood.
Okay. Blanchett, that's that anime I haven't heard in a long time. So future cosplays, Esther Blanchett, and who else?
Then there's oh my gosh, Sypha from
Sypha.
Castlevania.
Sypha.
Yeah, the anime.
Trying to see if you can convince your husband to go as Trevor.
Actually, one of my friends is gonna go as Trevor.
Nice. Now, is this pre-early seasons or is this later on when they're a thing?
Later on when they're a thing.
Okay, so when Trevor's outfit changes to that black, gold, and red,
Yeah.
yellowish outfit. Okay, when he's more
With
badass.
the wolf pelt. So
Nice. So you got Sypha, Esther Blanchett, and your last future cosplay.
which one do I want to choose? It's kind of a silly little one, but I want to do Belle's Christmas dress from the Christmas cartoon that they came out with from Beauty and the
Oh,
Beast.
the Christmas the side story where she's like wearing that
Yeah.
red outfit.
Yeah, I've actually been working on embroidery for the bodice for that to do it more 18th century style, possibly even a sacked style dress with like the cape in the
Nice.
back. So I've got everything for those. I just haven't started them yet.
Nice. Now, some questions I always forget to ask. Let's see. So two actually. Have you ever had a cosplay? Have you ever had a cosplay incident, basically where your cosplay ripped, torn, fell apart, something just basically went to shit in a sense, whether it was getting ready for the convention or at the convention.
Yes, and it was probably more funny than anything else. It was stupidly, um, we were doing a performance, and I was dressed as Grell from Black Butler,
Which
and
outfit of Grell?
just his regular regular Reaper outfit.
Okay, not his
And
pre Butler outfit.
no, I was actually hosting as a dating game host, and I was asking really inappropriate questions. Well, actually, it
As
wasn't
you
an
as you
inappropriate
would if you're
question.
as you would if you were to cosplay a cynical Reaper.
Yeah, it wasn't actually like an inappropriate question, but the answer turned out to be really inappropriate.
I'm kind of curious.
But so the question was, if you could describe yourself with a movie title, what would it be? And so I asked that question, and someone who was playing a nonverbal character wrote it down on a sign and held it up. And the answer was Anaconda. And I was just, I don't know what happened, but it was part of something that was supposed to happen later on in the show, but I had tearaway pants on. Pants just fell off. They just fell after that, and I just died. I couldn't do it anymore because I was standing there without any pants
Oh
on
no!
stage.
Oh no!
I had to go off the stage, I couldn't stop laughing because it was a mishap. It was not supposed to happen. That like the snaps had come off. They weren't
And this is
supposed
right. And
to.
this is right when they said the name of the movie.
Yes.
Oh, I can't tell if that's just coincidence or bad timing or perfect timing.
It was both.
Oh, I mean, there goes my second question now. If you ever had a convention horror story or embarrassing funny moment. Oh, I mean,
I can go like
if you have a separate answer to that question, feel free to share.
no, that would probably be in the same one.
It'd be
Um
under funny moment and horror story.
yeah. Yeah, because I
Okay,
was so embarrassed.
okay. Well, I guess what's the most heartfelt experience you've ever had at a convention? Then,
Um
like something
it,
like some it was an experience that just made your day in a good way.
so it was actually the first time I went to Sakura Con, and I was just kind of walking around with my friends. And then all these girls came up to me. I was dressed as Reno. These little girls came up to me and they're just like, "Oh my gosh, Reno, can we have a hug?" And I was just like, "They want hugs. Oh my gosh."
I mean, who doesn't want to pass up hugging probably the most funniest smartassy Turk ever?
Right? Right? No, it was just really surprising for me though. It was kind of like a oh. So I got hugs and I got pictures, and it was just kind of one of those things that make you feel really, really good. I mean, I've been attacked as Loki, but that's different.
Oh, jeez.
I had someone run up to me in a hallway of a hotel when I was dressed as Loki after finishing up a show, and they just ran up to me and they hugged me, and I was so stunned that I couldn't say anything. I was like, "Could you like?" Yeah, I couldn't even like function. I was so shocked.
I think that's honestly like one of the best things, especially if you're cosplaying a character and you see these little kids, they recognize you, and I think that's
Mhm.
like gives any cosplayer any joy is like when someone, especially like the younger generation, recognizes that character.
Yes.
I mean, previous to our other conversation, if you're going as a risque type messed up character and a little kid recognizes you, then there's like, okay, how do you know this
Mm-hmm.
character?
Yeah,
Why do
should
you know this character?
I be watching
Like, you're how old? You shouldn't be watching that.
that? Yeah.
I mean, I really shouldn't be saying anything because I watched South Park when I was a kid, but you wouldn't see me. You wouldn't see me as a 6, 7 year old go to a South Park cosplayer and ask and say, "Hey, you're cosplaying Kenny."
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Oh, jeez. Um. Uh, I guess right now then. Any last minute advice you'd like to share for cosplayers and congoers alike before we end this?
Um, I don't know. Do what you want to do. Don't let anybody or anybody else, even yourself, sabotage.
Because
Honestly, that's the biggest thing.
no, I agree. Because we're our own worst critics when it comes to
Hmm.
cosplay.
Yes. I didn't really have when I was first starting to get into cosplay, I hadn't met Iki and Snow yet. And so I didn't really have a community around me to like, encourage me and everything. So it was really hard. And I psyched myself out a lot and talked myself out of doing a lot. So I would just say, don't stay in your head. Get out of your head and do what you want to do.
I wholeheartedly agree on that. I think if this is something you enjoy doing, because I've seen cosplayers who've been doing this for so long, where they just, or even cosplayers who've been doing this for a few years, they just with how this community can be, because I don't think people
Hmm.
realize that the cosplay community itself can be toxic, and there's been a lot of
Hmm.
cosplayers who just stop doing this because of how certain cosplayers are,
Yeah.
especially those old timey cosplayers, so to speak. Or I remember watching this show, Here's a Cosplay, um, and there was these 12 women cosplaying as each of the doctors, and they were telling these cosplayers in the competition saying you don't belong here, you know.
Oh, gee.
And I don't think people
Wow.
realize that there are cosplayers who will be like that.
Yeah. The ones who nitpick and you know, if you don't make this, then you're not a cosplayer,
Mm.
things like that. It's, yeah.
Which actually now brings me to one more question. Well, not really a question, but I figured to get your opinion on this. Like younger cosplayers who are thinking about wanting to, like, they think that, you know, they hear about these big name cosplayers, and they see these cosplayers make these big builds, and these younger cosplayers think, oh, so this is what cosplay is. I have to do this.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on that when a cosplayer thinks they have to go above and beyond for their first cosplay?
I mean,
Because
it's great.
they think
Yeah.
that that's what cosplay is basically.
Yeah. Um, it's kind of a double-edged sword, I guess I would say, because it's great to, you know, see that and just be like, that's awesome, this is what this is. But then it also takes a little bit of the fun out of it.
Yeah, no, most definitely.
Because, I mean, you can wear like my Rin costume, for example. It's all bought.
I mean,
I
yeah,
bought
it
everything.
looks really well.
Yeah.
It looks really well done.
Thanks. Yeah, the pants I got from Walmart and made into shorts, and then I bought the shirt on Amazon, and the red shirt came from Target. The only thing I made was the sword bag, but that was literally maybe a total of $30, and it
That's
was,
impressive. It's
yeah.
amazing what you can do with like a guy I was recently talking to. He said he spent like 10-15 bucks, and he
Hmm.
basically made a cutout to put his face in, and the talking pirate from the intro of SpongeBob SquarePants.
Nice. Yeah, the big things, like it's great to have those ambitions, but it's also the little stuff too,
You got
and
to
the
start small before working your way
yeah,
up. I mean, if you feel confident enough and you know you can do it, then yeah, go for it. But
yeah,
if you're not confident of doing something that big, start small.
yeah, exactly.
Start with a closet or casual cosplay.
Yeah, get yourself into it, and then you know you can go from there. Because a lot of it too, a lot of some people that I've known, they've wanted to do cosplay, they want to get into it, but then they pick something big. They pick something big to do, and they stress themselves out so much to try to get it done,
And
and then they
that's
find out they don't like it.
and they don't have a finished and they don't have a finished cosplay for con.
Exactly. So then that turns them off of cosplay, but it's like I know that they enjoy dressing up, but they don't want to do it anymore because they had a bad experience.
And I
So,
think continue. Sorry.
oh, that was pretty much it. I was just
Oh,
gonna say that kind of goes back to that.
one more thing I like to add. If you're on that con crunch and you don't finish your cosplay on time and you know you're not going to finish, some advice, or if you have a cosplay malfunction, the best advice I can give, because I've asked other cosplayers and I'm sure you agree, bring a spare cosplay, whether it be a
Hmm.
closet or casual cosplay. So if you're tired of wearing your big bulky armored cosplay,
Hmm.
or it rips or something, or you don't get one finished, bring a spare so at least you have something to wear if you're wanting to cosplay
Yes,
at a con.
yes, always. That's my Reno. He goes with me everywhere because if there's something that I just maybe I don't feel that great, I'm too tired from driving, whatever, I can just put it on and I'm good to go.
So I gotta
So
ask,
it's
did you have his baton as well?
I don't, but Iki actually printed me one that I'm working on getting put together that my husband's going to help me assemble.
Nice. Oh,
Well, I will finally have that.
looking forward to seeing it. I think that should about do it again. JK, thank you for coming on, and
Thanks for having
for
me.
your first podcast interview for this series.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. This is awesome. I feel kind of like fangirly, I guess, because
And with your
I'm
permission, would I be okay to put your social media accounts in the description still below, so in case anyone has questions or want to see your other cosplays, they'll be allowed to do so.
hello.
Hello, can you? Oh, okay, that was
Oh,
weird.
sorry. That was really weird. That was really weird.
I'll make
Yeah.
sure to edit that part out. As I was asking, would it be okay if I put your social media accounts in the descriptions below so people can either have questions or look at your other cosplays?
Oh yeah, no, totally.
Okay, sweet. Again, thank you for coming on for this episode of Cosplay Con Talk. And as always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Thank you for listening, and until next time, thank you for watching.